Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Exceed Fighting Systems Street Fighter Edition. Returning to my channel is Boogie.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? And we were kind of both trying to figure who to play, but I figured, well, with all the theory crafting I've been doing around this guy and the in real life playing I've gotten, I really wanted to actually give Akuma a try. Oh, thanks for setting the cards. So I will be running Akuma into his Cammy. Um, right off the bat, just before we get playing, I just want to showcase these two characters' abilities so you can follow a bit more easily for those of you who don't play, which is probably a lot of you. Akuma has that when you crit, you get +2 power, but your opponent does as well. Now, notably, in the way crits work, this works with cards that don't have any other critical abilities on them, but it also works with cards that do have critical abilities. So if, for example, I'm using Zugaihatsu, as you can see here, I would both get the crit bonus of that, as well as the crit bonus of my UA. And since it's not required to crit an attack, if I'm not confident that I'm going to get the hit in, I might not want to give Cammy power. On the flip side, you've got Cammy. Apart from the fact that many of her moves move her forward, advance 2, advance 3, advance 4, advance 4, well, there you go. Whenever she moves past the opponent, so advance 2, during a strike, regardless of the range listed on a move, that move will now include the opponent in its range. And when she goes super mode, not only does she include range, but she actually gains power and retains advantage for hitting in those situations. I think that's just about as much as you kind of need to know going in. Yeah. Want to flip? I call heads.
Alright.
Let's go first. I will be on the play.
Alright.
Good luck, Evan. And I don't know if these were shuffled. Wait, they were, right? Yeah, I did that. Okay, we're good. Anyway.
You have 2 graphs, 2 cross, and 1 assault. Then you know it wasn't shuffled.
I'm not that bad, so I suppose I'm probably fine. I'm trying to remember how I went on and off mic. Did I just go through Discord, I think? Hang on.
I think so.
Can you hear me? Can you not hear me? I'm good? Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's how. So when I need to talk to my audience without talking to you is to give away everything I'm thinking. That's what I'll do. When you want to go ahead and talk your thought process out for me to hear, I'm more than happy to hear all of your strategy. Anyway, off mic a sec while I mulligan. So looking at these cards, the first thing I'm thinking as Akuma is I want to get something that's going to connect, and I want to get something that can boost my power so I can make my connections hurt. Until I have gauge, I can't use my crit ability. Sweep would give me +2 speed on the boost, and dive would let me get in at speed 6. That combination seems very potent to me, so I'm going to try and boost turn 1 and then dive in and hit him. If that's what I'm doing, I don't need these 3 cards to do it, so we'll ditch these 3 and hope for something that helps with my power. Alrighty, flip and put down, flip and put down, draw 3.
You will mulligan 3 cards as well.
And stack and shuffle. This is so much easier for me. I've played on this playmat in real life so many times, and it just seems cleaner. I guess it's just the consistent art style makes a big difference. Alright, well, we have first move. And we're going to boost here. So, as opposed to using my initial boost plan, I'm going to use this one.
That's a good boost.
It's a little less speed, but it promises a little bit more gauge. And that's important, because that's why I'm boosting in the first place. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So this could do more of the same.
It'll boost high jump to 3.
Okay. So with Cammy moving into melee, I am immediately thinking that she is trying to pull off something even faster than me. Maybe a grasp or a fast attack. I could always just use sweep and count as a counter to that. I don't think that at this range, the penetration moves wouldn't really be effective. She could dive past me, but dive is a little slower speed too. I kind of want to go double or nothing. Use this. If she attacks into me, presume grasp. If she doesn't attack into me, cross myself. Okay, boost again.
Well done. That's concerning.
Let's just say that I am a raging demon who wants a lot of gauge. Giving away my top secret strategy.
Let's go fast.
So now he is trying to outrace me, and that +2 is going to outbeat my +1. I could leave it be, or I could match him tit for tat. If I do that, I still have the second fastest move in the game at my disposal. I'm thinking that's not a bad way to go, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll still lose to grasp speed 9. It might be worth my while to honestly just play sweep at this range raw tag. Let's see what he could hit me with. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of talking this out right now. The thing about your kit is there are just so many ways that you can attacks at range X do not hit, which complicates what I'm confident I can hit with and what I'm not confident I can hit with. And then
It
you've
is
got...
worth
Hmm?
it is worth knowing that dive kick only does that as an after effect. So if you activate first, then dive kick is
Oh.
a problem.
Interesting. Okay, I hadn't considered that part. And you've got your second speed 7 attack and cannon spike that can reposition me very effectively. Question: if you pull someone over your head with cannon spike, are they considered to have crossed you for purposes of gaining advantage?
No, since it's only if you move past the opponent.
Well, you would have moved past me. It's just, oh, I see, I would have moved past you since you pulled me over your head.
Yeah.
Okay, not that it matters, you're not exceeded yet, but you could in the future, and I'd like to know in advance. I don't know what to make of what you just did. I think I might be trying to overread, and that is its own mistake. I have very little information to work with, and I would like more of it. So, we are going to use a reading against you, which I can then use to force you to use the attack I want you to, if you have it. I am going to recommend / require that you use Spike against me, since that is not in range.
Alright, and you spike
And
attack
I
before.
will then, oh, I know. I will then have to attack into you first before you actually show or don't show whether or not you actually are going to spike me. So if you do hit with Spike, I want to use an attack that will exploit it beautifully. If you don't hit with Spike, I don't want to just lose out to you. So I will then use this instead, and either way, I probably get to look at your hand, which I'm very happy with. Oh,
There is in fact a spike.
well, this is going to work very well for me. This is going to work very well for me indeed.
Ow.
So,
Take 8.
sweep at this range and a wide range will hit. I'll make him discard a card so I gain some tempo, but most importantly for my purposes, all the gauge! All the gauge! Oh, that's nifty. You can do your own random discard. I need to get good at that. I also managed to wipe the value of his speed boost by doing this. Did I put sweep in here for a reason? Yes, I didn't boost with speed. I boosted with the other speed booster. Okay, so it's to you, and that is Akuma is very happy now.
Yeah, now I am in massive trouble and very likely to lose the game.
Wait, really? Why?
Just because that is such a big loss that's hard to recover from. I could still win. There's a very good chance I still win, but this
You,
is like
the thing about Akuma is he's a glass cannon. I'm gonna be blowing both of us up. My goal is to blow you up faster. when
That
I
is
tra-
true, I
when I
suppose.
trade, you're gonna trade me right back down. You know, do you mind if I reorder your discard? Or not reorder,
Um,
but spread it out so I can see it visually, or is that not okay?
it
Like,
matters for some characters. I don't think it matters
oh,
for Cammy.
I know I shouldn't get used to it if it's not if it's an issue. I should get used to looking at these tiny little things and reading them correctly. So you've used up one of your two speed 7 cannon spikes, which is good for me. Strategies within strategies. I could exceed now and turn my critical +2 into critical +3. That's an option on the table.
It's currently my turn,
Yes,
correct?
yes, it is. I don't gain advantage. I just gain a whole lot of gauge.
Yeah, I'll strike.
So we have. Hmm, pardon off mic. So what do we do here? On the one hand, we do have an answer in hand that should deal with pretty much anything he could strike with short of grasp. That's a pretty fast attack. But what if he's using a sweep or something slower? Then I just reposition myself and get hit anyway. This would pummel. If he had a sweep, this would be the thing to hit him with. And it's speed 5, which is reasonable against most anything he'd use. But I don't have confidence in what he's going to do. I'd rather honestly just take damage here in top swing and retain my hand. So that's what we'll do. Alright, so I'm probably making a misplay here, but I'm going to just wild strike back. And no
Wild
crit.
swings, wild swings are very good a lot
I,
of the time. In this case, it didn't work out clearly.
I'm trying to retain my hand size, and that's kind of reasonable for me.
Yeah, wild swings are a tool I use often. They're actually quite strong.
The other thing I'm trying to do here is figure out what you're playing, what you're doing. I don't have enough of a read on you to have any clue what was coming at me there. So if I waste moves now, I just do myself a disservice. So now I have to decide between continuing to boost, which is how I like to play Akuma in this situation, or drawing for more options. I think that given that we're 3 to 3 in hand size, I'm not actually behind on options necessarily. So I'm going to actually take the opportunity to continue to empower myself, in this case by boosting. Feel my hate. Power of hatred.
I'm not a fan. I'm gonna boost spike.
So he is, by doing this, has put it me outside of the quick stun range that I was hoping to get into with the +2 on this, as well as my character ability of +2. It's going to be difficult now to actually just outright stun him without actually having a reasonable amount of damage on whatever I hit him with. That being said, I'm far from in a bad position. I like what I'm doing. I'm going to draw 2. My goal here is to try to draw into something faster than this, faster than cross. Akuma does have those options. This, however, is really what I'm going to do.
I'm
That
gonna
way,
take a
I get a
spike
ton of
now
speed.
before you get more boosts out. I'll boost it with crit.
There you go. So that was my strat, and that is a very appropriate counter to it. Knowing that he's critting, he's either bluffing, which is quite unlikely. He doesn't have enough gauge to waste on bluffs. He's well guarded because of his spike boost, so let's see what he could be doing. There are 3 crit moves to look for. Speed 1, 3, and 4. Right off the bat, I need to be looking at my hand to see if I'm even capable of beating out that speed. Next, which, next, at speed 1, massive advance, and then hit for some. Actually, 1, 3, and 4, none of these have armor or guard. So the only one that he could even really be using is Spiral Arrow. Anything else, he's got to believe that with me showing +4 damage, I could probably interrupt him, which is not something he'd want me to do. So let's presume it's Spiral Arrow coming at me. He's gonna range 1, but that doesn't matter because Cammy. He'll jump past me and include me in the range. Advance 1, 2, 3, 4, and boom. If I could somehow not be in that range, that would be key. And I think I can pull just that off. So let us respond with a critical cross.
Oh yeah, cross is a card.
So because I critted, we both have +2 damage. But I forgot that you don't have to actually cross me to hit me, so that was a misspent play on my part. We're going to deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage,
Oh,
of
2
which it's going to be blocked by armor down to 5. And then we're going to run away 1, 2, 3 because of cross, maintaining the crit. Maintaining the energy. She will die 4, which is not quite enough to reach past me, but it doesn't have to get past me to still be in range 1. So that was my misplay. And I am now going to be hit in the Akuma face for a full 7, because my UA... What does UA stand for, by the way?
unique ability.
My unique ability doesn't seem to care for friend or foe. So it's my turn now, right? Yeah, you struck.
Yes.
Because I was just boost. Off mic a second while I explain my strategy. So this is what I really want to reach. I want to be hitting with this for an absolute ton of damage. For that boost for +3 speed to guarantee that I get the attack off. Unfortunately, that requires at least +1 power plus my crit, so 3 total. I can only reach that by using this as a boost for +1 for now, or by exceeding, but I'm not ready to exceed yet. So instead, I'm going to use this boost. And for that reason, let us boost. And rather than play it safe, we're going to play it Akuma and burn 3 life to draw 3 cards, +1, because end of turn. We want every option available to us. That is exactly the kind of thing we're looking for right now.
I will prepare.
Excellent. So because she's given me a small window to breathe by preparing, I can now, again, decide how best to exploit that window. I have this, which is great for the future, but for now, I want to make sure that anything I do use will hit confirm. But I also want to deal enough damage to be worth hit confirming with. She will likely have drawn into at least 1 fast attack by now. So we're probably going to try and hit with that. That's just a good move. So let's do this. Boost. And now we got this. So this plus this is just fantastic.
That's a major problem.
I have no problem giving you major problems. You'll notice, by the way, what I was saying earlier, that with Akuma being down 8, which sounds horrifying, isn't actually that bad, because everything's just going to blow up. I has so much fire.
Alright, I think that is basically what I have to do in order to deal with this. I will read in, name in, spike.
Okay. This is unfortunate, because with all the cards I drew, it's a high probability of me having a spike, which I in fact do in this situation. So I'm going to end up eating this. I'm going to get hit for a small amount of damage, but what's more relevant is when you're involved in a strike, you lose all your boosts. So all of that investment is going to be wiped.
I wish I had a bigger payout for that, but I had to take what I could get.
Do I move somewhere?
Oh, I pulled you 1.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, cool. So now we're back to the drawing board. And I have no problem with that because you're down to 2 cards. I have many options and much to leverage. So we'll do this. If it feels like I do a whole lot of powering up, it's because I do.
I will prepare. And hopefully not die.
Look at him, hoping not to die. How quaint. I think at this point, I need to check my discard and see where I'm at, because I'm pretty sure I've used several of my attack ups, but I still have at least a couple that I'm very eager to draw before I reshuffle. So I'm not quite ready to reshuffle yet. So instead, we're going to plan for this to be our hit connect. Or maybe this. Or this. Boost. Paying 1 life. Or I don't need to pay a life, do I? I do need to pay a life. I want to max my hand size. So, draw 2. It's to you. There it is. Depending what he lets me get away with, if I can equip that boost, it's going to be pretty dramatically awesome. Because then this plus this is all doubled up, and this is probably faster than he's going to be able to respond. He's used up 1 grasp. He has at least 1 leg kick. I might boost speed first. I don't know. We'll see.
Interesting situation.
I mean, I have no doubt that I'm playing a little more recklessly than perhaps I should be, but...
I think that what I have to do
Mm-hmm.
is boost this, spending a gain to this force.
Okay, so getting...
2
Okay.
strike.
So, with that, we'll spend a... Not critting, I assume.
Yeah, no crit.
We're going to assume that he has got something which is effective at that range, because it'd be foolhardy for him not to. Looking over his move list, of course, it looks like speed 5, he has at least 1 option with the dive kick that would reach me. Obviously, there's the base set, which includes assault at that speed as well. So my ideal scenario, I would use something at speed 6 or higher to hit him, if that's possible. Off mic a sec. This is the strongest answer I have, but I'm almost certain that he's going to be attacking me at speed 5, that he wouldn't be going any slower than that. He's hoping to interrupt me so that I don't get all this off. If he comes at me with an assault, I can mitigate it severely with this. I can bring it down to just like 2 hits and make him wish he hadn't hit me. If he dives past me with any of these moves, it's not a big deal. I still counter. But if he's using something where it will put him in a attacks at range do not hit, like dive kick, that would suck. One dive, is his dive kick all used up? No, he has at least 1 dive kick left. Wait, he has both his dive kicks available. I thought he used 1, but I guess not. So with both his dive kicks available, this is just not going to be good to stand still and be in a place where he's going to hit me easily. I really don't think that I have a move that will actually land here. So my problem is, I'm fairly certain that you're using either assault or dive kick. Because you've discarded and you had the option to be at any position you wanted, and you chose this position to be in. Now, I could, gamble that you're bluffing in some way, but if you're not bluffing, dive kick would put you in range to ignore my next attack. Unless I can go faster. And most of the cards that would hit you at this range, I've already used up. So, it depends how confident I am that I have read you correctly. And I'm fairly sure I've read you correctly. So I am not going to crit, but I will respond with focus. So I'll get a card out of it and I'll mitigate damage.
Fair enough.
So what am I taking? 2?
Yes.
Swing and a miss. My boosts are discarded. And I draw 1. Off of the focus effect.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point my deck is getting towards the lower side, but it's not gone yet. I'm going to boost Demon Armageddon and draw 1.
That's very dangerous.
I think I'm reasonable to try it.
Very dangerous for me, I mean.
Oh. Yeah, possibly.
Let's strike. What could go wrong? Only everything.
Well, in for a penny, in for a pound, right? And there's a very, very real possibility that... I mean, you've used up 2 of your fast attacks, which means your deck contains 2 more. I don't think you have it. I think it's a bluff, and I am going to take my shot. So I will crit, respond with Goshoryuken. Ah, that is unfortunate. So not only will I be stunned out, but what would normally be a small hit of 3 will be a big hit of 5.
I need to figure out where I want you to be.
And at this point, I've made one too many misreads to actually have a realistic chance to come back. That being said, it's a fighting game, and in fighting games, you're never dead until you're quite dead.
Considering I'll have 3 gauge at this point, and both CQCs in my deck, I probably want to keep you at range 1 by pulling you 1, so I can potentially use CQC to great effect if I wild swing into it.
Attacks range 1 do not hit you. Push or pull any number of spaces. Yeah, I can see that being a reasonable move. And that's, incidentally, not on hit. So you would dodge whatever I attack with in that situation. So, you struck into me, correct?
Yes.
Alright, so I will actually strike this turn. And it will be a crit.
Alright, let's wild swing and hope for the best.
I'm doing this based on the fact that you have no hand size.
That's not the best.
So, as Akuma, I have the +2 on mine, so 6 damage, which is enough to stun, since anything stuns in this situation. And I retain advantage because that's the nature of an assault. Well, that was so much fun, I say we do it again. Strike with a crit.
Better luck this time.
Got you again. There aren't a lot of things you're going to wild swing into that are faster than a 4, so I took my chances. Advance 2, which I will move past you. You will take the critted amount of 6. And now I'm beginning to understand why Akuma's Exceed is good. Because if that had actually... if I had been critted, you would be even lower than you are now. But this does not retain advantage. However, it does knock your hand out, which I am very happy with. It's to you.
This is a difficult situation. I think that my only real option is to simply prepare.
With this in hand, I feel pretty confident I can survive one more attack if necessary. So I'm actually going to do something similar. I have a lot of options here. I have this to negate whatever he tries to do. I can use this to make myself stronger to survive an attack. It's a tricky call. I'm running lower and lower on deck, so I'm actually going to take a moment to quickly card count, because I know Akuma has roughly 8 power boosters, and I'm seeing that I've used 1, 2, 3, 4. I've used actually not quite half of them, so I'm not actually in a mandatory shuffle phase. Five-ish, I think, out of 8. I could draw into something pretty valuable if I prepare, but I don't dare let you get the advantage by just waiting in this situation. I think the best thing to do would be to boost and draw. Stop spinning.
I will boost as well.
That would be my money card most of the time. Bonus to speed is how I'm going to have to use it this time, though, because I don't think I can take his initial attack with just 4 health. What is this doing to me here? Plus 2 speed, but if you don't use it, you lose it. Okay. I will draw 2. Remember the block plan. I'm assuming he's going to use the bonus speed here. I'm already armored up. I get even more armor now.
The most reasonable thing is for me to strike.
I thought so. I will block.
Fair enough.
So, what am I getting hit with?
Only 3 power.
So, down to 1, down to 0?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That is the right amount of damage right now. Okay, so now you are far away. You don't mind being closer, do you? That would be very helpful to me.
I prefer you stay over there.
But would it not be so much easier for me to hit you if you were closer?
It would be, which is why I don't want.
That never works. um, I'm kind of thinking it's not a bad time to reshuffle at this point. The cards I most want are probably in my discard right now. But at the same time, I really can't afford to take a slow turn and let you get an advantage. You're at a very precarious position with hand size 1. If I can in any way capitalize on that, I should. So we're going to boost instead. Perfect.
I think I end up doing something kind of silly in response to that.
Okay.
Which is to Wild Sun.
That's an interesting... So you're gambling that this is a setup move and I don't have a follow-up.
Both your Go Hadokens are down, so I know that you don't have anything that hits at this range.
Which is correct. And I don't know what I'm moving into, which means I can't just blindly use this to reposition myself for the penultimate or ultimate attack.
It looks like a really silly move, but...
No, it's very logical in the situation. You have 1 card in hand, I have 0 read on it. But I'm down to 5 cards in deck, so you've got a pretty reasonable read on me. Off mic a sec while I think. Here's the point. I can move myself forward 3 with this and risk getting hit at this range by a blind strike. Or I can move myself forward 2, probably be safe from a reasonable range of her moves. Actually, that's the trick, because for the rest of the strike, attacks at range 1 do not hit, so she would literally have to be in just the right position to hit me if I move forward 2. And when I'm here, I can then jump past her, or I can glide into her with this. I think this is my follow-up, and just try to go for the kill. Okay, I'm ready. We are going to respond with Hyakishu. Because with the speed, I should probably go first. Except I don't. and then I would move to here and be relatively safe. Okay, so it's me again. He's got one card in hand. He hasn't been saving it. I'm just going to EX dive. The speed on that, plus a crit for 8-9 damage, that might just win. So we're going to EX strike with a crit. Very good chance that you can read this attack.
Yeah, both dives are left, so it's probably dive, and I happen to have the perfect counter right in my hand.
Well, we played into it, so that's fair. So the reason this is going to work out is I'm going to go first, and ordinarily this would be pretty brutal to be hit with 6, 7, 8 damage in melee, but CQC's special ability is that regardless of the time it's used, being at range 1, nothing is going to hit. He did manage to dig and find it, and he has enough gauge to use that. So I'm going to dive in, miss, and the response is going to be enough to kill me because I'm at low. And that's the game. GG. I will go to 0.
Good luck.
So, things that are notable from my point of view. You held that last card 2 or 3 turns, correct?
Yeah, I held it for a decent amount of time.
So
I knew
you were waiting for a showdown win with that card.
Yeah, I knew it was a very high value card that was likely to be able to deny your payout. So I wanted to hold on to it and make sure I had it rather than relying on wild swing into it.
No, I can definitely see that, and I was gambling on you not getting it fast enough, which is why I didn't slow down and just draw other cards or do other things, putting out the remainder of my deck. The thing that I'd like to point out to viewers is that the idea of when you don't have tech to get rid of a particularly troublesome boost, the idea of using a attack that forces your opponent to not overbuild is pretty key. And when you can tell your opponent is getting into a more and more advantageous position due to boosting, it almost becomes necessary to interrupt that somehow, which, Boogie did to great effect this match. Just so you know, I was frequently one turn. You frequently interrupted the turn before something absolutely devastating, like a high-speed Demon Armageddon or something. A sure to connect Go Shoryuken, that kind of thing. I would say that I don't feel like this match came down to good luck or bad luck. I definitely made a series of bad decisions at one point, but it felt pretty solid the whole way through.
Yeah, we both got nice read-ins on Spike, so it was evened out.
And I'm very proud, actually, of using reading in that situation. So I didn't discuss this as much off mic as I meant to. There was a twofold purpose. The first was I had a pretty sizable hand, so I could afford to burn a card, even go down a card in size if I was going to get value. If I was right and pulled out his Spike, that puts me so far ahead early game, which is great. Especially with Akuma, where it's difficult to trade even in the early late game because you're bursting both of you and your opponent forward. On the flip side, if I was wrong, I would get to read his 6-card hand at the early game where he still has 20 cards in deck and I have no other access to information. Now that's fantastic. That would help me set up plays and counterplays and would make, when I boost +2 power, he has to think that I actually am holding a counter whether or not I am, because I know his hand, so why would I boost otherwise? So that was kind of the dual purpose for my early reading, as opposed to just blind striking. I think the turn where I thought you were bluffing about having a speed 7 melee and you actually did have the interrupt with grasp was the turning point of the match for me. But I know that, generally speaking, I try to read the most dangerous thing my opponent can do and assume he'll do it. This causes me to underplay my hand fairly often. So I've been trying to get out of that mentality. And I actually started coming back when I did that, when I went in with the Tatsumaki Zankukyaku at near melee range. I mean, it's just a speed 4 attack, or 5 attack, I guess. I don't remember. I think it was 5 at the time. But you have 1 card in hand. So I'm probably okay.
Yeah.
And your wild swing speed isn't going to be better on average, just based on
Wild
character speed.
Wild Swings, like, I don't think any of them worked out this game, but they are a very strong tool in general. Like, because the thing you have to realize is that you're getting a full power card. It's
Yeah,
not a random one. Like, a
and
full power card is still fine.
I think the phrase I like the best to describe it is, if the answer you're looking for to the thing that you think you're facing is not in your hand, it's probably in your deck.
Yeah.
So if you are 90% sure your opponent's going to dive kick you, like at one point in this game, I basically said, like, this is the move you're going to use. I know that's what you're going to use. So I looked at my hand, and I was like, nothing I have will beat that, or will get around it, or will be effective. Okay, well, let's try the top card of my deck. Maybe I'll luck sack into my second cross,
Yeah.
or a block, or something. One card I want to talk to you about briefly before I close out the vid, because I'm trying to limit these to 45 minutes and about that point, and that's block. When I first started playing Exceed, I would treat my blocks almost as sacred, like they're the best card, because barring an ignore armor on them, you can spend cards engaged to not take damage. And then as I grew in my understanding of Exceed, I realized that, okay, throwing away 2 cards is terrible. I mean, you have to do it sometimes, but that's a whole turn you're giving up.
Yeah, my opinion on block is that it's great against anything you can't beat otherwise, and not very good against anything you can beat otherwise.
The reason I was treasuring it in this matchup at the end was I was at such low health and you were at such low health, but I had a significant amount of gauge, so I could actually afford to drop my block whenever I thought, crap, he's got the better of me. But in general, oh, and the flip of that is, at the bottom, block has an ability called parry. And again, one of those moves where it doesn't seem great. I discard my card to make you potentially discard your card. But the sheer degree to which you can screw over your opponent if you predict, for example, if in this situation I had read he's digging for CQC, maybe he found CQC, let me parry it just in case. I mean, he's held this card for 2 turns and wild swung once while holding it. It's probably important to him. That would have been a pretty epic read. But
Yeah,
I've. Hmm?
parry can be very nice in those sort of situations. I don't end up using parry all that much, but it's like a very strong tool if you know how to use it.
Well, I think that's it for now. I definitely feel like this game did a good job highlighting what I was trying to get at in my Akuma analysis video, and I appreciate, as always, all the comments and everybody who's watching the videos and subscribers and whatnot. It's you guys who make making these as fun as it is. So keep them coming, and if there's something you want to see in particular or a matchup you're looking to watch, let me know. I'll see if I can make it happen. Once again, thank you for your time, and thank you for your time, Boogie. Thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time.